Good evening, Professor, and my classmate and the friend from Thailand. Today, I am going to talk about the interaction of the different omega-3 fatty acid and the vitamin E on the broilers. This is the table of content. First, I will talk about introduction and a lot of different research results and the conclusion. Basically, the lipids is classified on the based on the position of double bond and number of double bond. Like saturated fatty acid is the fatty acid that has no double bond, that is palmitic and stearic acid. And the monounsaturated fatty acid is a single double bond fatty acid, that is also the oleic acid. Example, and the polyunsaturated fatty acids usually present the two or more than two double bond on the carbon chain. And the polyunsaturated fatty acid further can be divided into two parts, that is omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acid and the omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acid. The omega-3 omega-3 means the position of carbon in the third position from the methyl group, that is also called the alpha linolenic acid, and the omega-6 also called the linoleic acid. And the both of the omega-3 and the omega-6 fatty acids are essential fatty acid. It means the our body or the animal body cannot synthesize those kind of fatty acid. So it is necessary to provide this kind of fatty acid in the diet. There is the counterintuitive relationship between the linoleic acid and the alpha linolenic acid, that is omega-6 and omega-3. If the concentration of omega-6 fatty acid is higher, that will happen the like vasoconstriction, bronchoconstriction. Also it can cause the inflammation. And for higher concentration of omega-3 can reduce the inflammation, and it can also help to vasodilation. So there is a lot of research demonstrated that the omega-3 fatty acids is good for the like cardiovascular system, blood system, and the other body organ. And usually these two kind of fatty acids undergo the different enzymatic reaction, and they divide into other type of fatty acid, like omega-3 fatty acids, also called the alpha linolenic fatty acids. The the enzyme that delta 6 desaturates help to synthesis the steariodienic acid, and another enzyme that will divide into eicosapent tetratonic acid. And those same kind of enzyme also can influence on the omega-6 fatty acid. So if the concentration of one fatty acids is higher in the animal, so the maybe that will help to that will take most part of these enzymes. So the another fatty acids may be reduced, or another fatty acid if high, then another may be reduced. That might be the possible in the physiology. And the omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acid in human nutrition have drawn considerable interest due to their potential health benefits, such as contributing to development of the infant brain and decrease in the risk of tumors, cardiovascular disease, and inflammatory disorders. And the most significant omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acids are alpha-linolenic acid and the EPA and the DHA. And the linseed oil and fish oil is the most commonly used nutritional lipid sources for its high content of alpha-linolenic acid and the supplementation of the chicken diet with linseed oil and fish oil can increase the content of omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acid. Usually in the linseed oil, the concentration of alpha-linolenic acid is higher, and for fish oil, the fish is usually from the sea fish, not from the freshwater fish. In the from the marine fish, those contain these two kind of omega-3 fatty acid, EPA and DHA. And omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acids are also the very susceptible to the oxidation and can contribute to the higher oxidative stress, also due to an enlarged production of reactive oxygen species in vivo experiment. And supplementation with omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acid can cause an imbalance between reductants and oxidants in vivo and consequently induce the damage to different macromolecules such as DNA, protein, and lipids, which can lead to the impaired activity and apoptosis and necrosis of different cells. Additionally, the high dietary intake of omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acid lead to high level of them in the meat and tissue, thereby increasing the susceptibility of the animal products to the oxidative deterioration. And there is a lot of research showing the supplementation of different antioxidants such as vitamin E and selenium were effectively also in case of high dietary omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acid. In table 1, you can see the content of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids selected the plant and the animal-based food. Usually in the oil like flaxseed oil contain the high concentration of alpha omega-3 fatty acid and the low concentration of omega-6, and other like canola oil, soybean soybean oil or corn and other uh, rice bran oil, those contain the high concentration of linoleic acid. In the for fish, you can see the fish do not contain the alpha linolenic acid, but it contains the EPA and DHA type of omega-3 fatty acids. And for beef, beef also contain the high concentration of omega-6 fatty acid, and also the also in the lamb also contain the omega-6 fatty acids, but lamb do not contain the any only also contain the DHA type of fatty acid, omega-3 fatty acid. It's a high in concentration. And the seeds, other kind of seeds like chia, hemp seed, walnut seed, those also contain the high concentration of omega-6 fatty acid. And tables 2, this is one experiment. In this experiment, those researcher use the different kind of feeding for starter, grower, and finisher. They put the linseed oil in the finisher diet, that is from 21 days to the 40 days, and for starter and grower they just use the commercial diet. So in this experiment, they use the control diet, that is with linseed oil, and this one is the linseed oil with vitamin E and the linseed oil with vitamin C, and the diet that contain linseed oil with selenium, and the diet that contain all linseed oil with vitamin E and the vitamin C and selenium. In in growing period, you can see there is not significant difference in the average average daily gain between the control diet and the adding of vitamin E, C, and selenium. But there is the average daily gain is significantly lower in the mixed diet that contain the linseed oil with vitamin E, vitamin C, and selenium. And also the average feed intake also higher in the control diet and the diet that contain the vitamin C and the selenium. And for overall, there is also the significantly lower in the average daily feed intake. And in this also in that experiment, they also analyze the plasma, serum, and the whole blood parameters at the end of supplementation period. That is the 21 to 42 days period. And in that case, you can see the concentration of those vitamin C, vitamin E, and other are higher in the that contain vitamin E has the higher vitamin E, and that contain the vitamin C has higher vitamin C. But the the antioxidant activity, that is superoxide dismutase in GP, you can see the diet that contain the vitamin E, vitamin and selenium has significantly lower the antioxidant activity than the control diet that is only with the linseed oil. And table 5 shows the performance of broilers and feed control or graded levels of linseed oil, expanded linseed. They in this experiment they use the expanded linseed and they extrude they extrude this linseed and they use for the diet. And first 14 days of period, they use the like control group and 67% of expanded linseed and the 135 gram of expanded linseed and 203 expanded linseed. Here you can see the total feed intake is significantly higher that contain the expanded linseed, but there is no significant difference among the body weight gain. And for the in grower period, you can see also the diet that contain the 67 and 135 expanded linseed has significantly higher body weight and also the control. And the diet that contain the highest level of linseed expanded linseed has significantly lower the body weight. And for in the finisher period, the in finisher period also the body weight gain is significantly higher in the low concentration of expanded linseed, and but in control and high concentration of expanded linseed had significantly lower the body weight gain. And this table 6 shows the effects of feeding control or graded level of expanded linseed oil to broiler chicks on ileum morphological characteristics at 21 and 42 days of age. They they estimate the villus height, creep depth, villus to creep ratio in the 21 days and 42 days. In this table, you can see the diet that contain the 203 gram of expanded linseed has significantly higher the villus to creep ratio in the both 21 days and the 42 days of age. And in table 7 shows the initial body weight in day 21 and final body weight is day 84 and feed intake and FCR of chickens that supplemented with the tuna oil or linseed oil. The chicken they used was the slow growing, I think, native chicken. And here you can see the diet treatment control, the one control diet, tuna oil with 2% tuna oil and 4%, 6% tuna oil and 2%, 4% and 6% linseed oil. In the starter period, in the body weight gain in day 21, there is no significant difference among the treatment. However, in the body weight at 84 days, there is the body weight is significantly higher in the control group and the diet that contain the tuna oil in low for 2 and 4%, and also the linseed oil that 2, 4 and 6%. However, the diet that contain the tuna oil 6% has significantly lowered the body weight gain, and there is no significant difference on the feed intake. And table 8 shows the pH, water holding capacity, and the shear force of breast and thigh meats. And in this one also the same experiment. The diet is control: tuna oil 2%, 4% and 6%, and linseed oil 2%, 4% and 6%. There is for the breast pH there is not significant difference, but for the water holding capacity in the boiling, you can see the diet that contain the 4%, 6% tuna oil and the linseed oil has significantly higher the water holding capacity in the uh, boiling. And the figure 1 shows the cholesterol content in the breast and thigh meats of chicken supplemented with tuna oil or linseed oil as a substitute for rice bran oil. And treatment consisted of 6% rice bran oil and 2% tuna oil, 4% rice bran oil, and the 4% tuna oil plus 2% rice bran oil, and 6% tuna oil and 2% linseed oil. And here you can see that this is the breast and this is the cholesterol content in the thigh. The diet that contain the high concentration of linseed oil along with the rice bran oil has uh, the trend is the increasing the cholesterol level. And the figure 2 shows the effects of dietary tuna oil on omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acid profiles in breast and thigh meats from the slow growing chickens. Results are presented as here. You can see the total oh, sorry. So my PC got so the this figure shows the effect of dietary tuna oil on the omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acid profile in the breast and thigh. Here you can see this one is the alpha linolenic acid, and this one is the EPA, and this one is the this one is the DHA, and this one is the total omega-3 fatty acid. The higher the concentration, there is the you can see there is the trend is like in medium it is in the peak and again it's decreasing. The similar trend in the both case. And this one shows the effects of dietary linseed oil. This one I just saw, right? And table 9 shows the effects of dietary linseed oil supplementation with and without soybean isoflavone on growth performance of yellow feathered chickens from 29 to 66 day of age. Here they use the 4% lard and the 2% lard plus 2% linseed oil and 4% linseed oil. And the another one is 2% lard, 2% linseed oil, and the SI is the without of soybean isoflavone. And another one is the 4% linseed oil with the soybean isoflavone. And this one is without soybean isoflavone, and this one is with soybean isoflavone. The diet that contains the high concentration of lard has significantly higher average daily feed intake than the diet that contains the other lard plus linseed oil or the lard plus linseed oil and the soybean isoflavone. The similar trend is shown in the feed to gain ratio. The table 10 shows the effects of dietary linseed oil supplementation with and without soybean isoflavone on meat quality attributes in the breast muscle of yellow feathered chicken. Here also you can see there is no significant effect on the different color of lightness, redness and yellowness of meat among the different treatments. And table 11 shows the effects of vitamin E and omega-3 fatty acids on ileal morphology of broilers. The in this experiment, here is no significant difference in most of the morphological attributes like villus height, crib depth, villus to crib ratio, and surface area. However, the supplemental of omega-3 fatty acid in grower diet had a trend to decrease the distance between adjacent villi compared to the group of omega-3 fatty acid supplementation during the starter phase. Yeah, here you can see that in the growing period, the trend is increasing with supplementation with vitamin E, but there is no significant difference. Decrease the distance between villi represents the improved the intestinal morphology, which could be more effective for nutrient absorption owing to a shorter distance of nutrients traveling and diffusion of the nutrients. The table 12 shows the body weight gain of birds fed different dietary treatment during period of from the 19 to 47 day of age. In this experiment, they use the fish oil in the 30 gram, 60 gram, and the control diet. And there is no significant difference between on the body weight gain among the different treatments. What you can see the in the later sorry in the finisher state, the diet that contain the control diet has higher the body weight than the diet that contain the fish oil and the other diet contain that fish oil. And table 13 shows the effect of fish oil on immunotissue weights in broiler chicken. The tissue usually the immunity organs are spleen, thymus, and bursa in chicken. So there is no significant difference on the spleen. However, for the thymus and bursa, you can see the diet that contain the 50 gram fish oil has significantly higher the thymus weight. In the diet that contain the 30 and control diet has the significantly higher the bursa weight. In table 14 shows the plasma fatty acid, sorry, com- plasma fatty acid composition of 6-week-old broilers fed increasing the level of fish oil, that is 0, 30, 50 and 60 gram per kg. Here you can see the diet that contains the fish oil has the low omega-6 to omega-3 ratio than the other. And this is the another experiment. It's in this experiment they use the linseed oil as the control group and the control diet, and the linseed oil with vitamin E and the vitamin C and selenium, and the all vitamin E, C and selenium. For the water, there is not significant difference in the water holding capacity and the pH of the meat after 24 hours and after 48 hours. And table 16 shows the effect of dietary fat unsaturation on broiler energy and fatty acid digestibility balance from the day 42 to 44 of stage. In this experiment, they use the yes is the diet that contain the 10% of the tallow rich in the saturated fatty acid, and the Yan3 is the diet that contain the 10% polyunsaturated fatty acid, that is omega-3 rich in oil, that is 75% the linseed oil and 25% fish oil. In this case, the diet that contain the tallow has the high concentration of omega-6. The the diet that contain of the linseed oil and fish oil has the higher concentration of omega-3 and both omega-6 fatty acid. It's interesting. And also the I also confuse here the total short chain fat saturated short chain fatty acids also no total saturated fatty acids also the higher in diet that contain the linseed oil and fish oil, because the tallow tallow contain the tallow is rich in the saturated fatty acid, right? But still the diet that contain tallow has the low saturated fatty acid. So in this research, in this result I also confused and I didn't find the exact result on the paper. And I assume the total fatty acid content uh, in the diet that contain the fish oil and linseed oil here is higher, like 92. So I thought that's the reason. Also, it has higher the saturated fatty acids and higher the polyunsaturated fatty acid and the total omega-3 and both omega-6 fatty acid. It, this is just I assume, but I'm not sure. And in table 17, the shows the weights and fat content of abdominal fat, liver, and serratorious muscle on day 50. Here they use the diet that is yes that is the diet 10% of tallow, and the Yan3 is the 10% of the PUFA omega-3 rich oil, that is 75% linseed oil and 25% fish oil. Here you can see the diet that contain the tallow, also the saturated fatty acid has the higher absolute body weight, uh, ab- absolute weight of the abdominal fat, and the relative weight also the higher, and the fat content percentage is also higher, and adipocyte area also higher in the for the abdominal fat, and similar region in the fat content in the muscle, and there is not difference on the liver. Here in the histological section you can see the abdominal fat. The A is the adipocytes of animal fat. The diet which contain the tallow. and these contain the diet contain the omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acid. The diet that contain the saturated fatty acid has the higher the abdominal fat, and this one has the lower the abdominal fat, also the highest the number of the cell per surface area. Like in this surface area, you can see here one, two, three, four, but here only one. So the diet that can reach in the omega-3 fatty acid has a low abdominal fat content. And the table 18 shows the effect of dietary fat type on broiler performance from 8 to 42 day of age. Here they use the different treatments like B is the diet that low in fat and T is the diet that 10% of edited tallow, and the SOO is the diet that 10% sunflower oil rich in the oleic acid, and SOL is the diet with 10% of sunflower oil rich in the linoleic acid, also the omega-6 fatty acid, and the yellow is the linseed oil that contain the omega-3 fatty acid, and yam is the diet that with the 10% of mix of fat, 50% of the tallow, 35% of the linseed oil, and the 10% of the sunflower oil. Here you can see the diet that contain the mix oil has significantly higher the weight gain and also the significantly better the feed gain ratio. But feed intake is significantly higher that contain the tallow because of tallow contain the saturated fatty acid. And table 19 shows the effect of dietary fat type on broiler energy and fatty acids digestibility balance with 29 to 31 day of age. Here you can see the total fatty acid and the saturated fatty acid, monounsaturated fatty acid and polyunsaturated fatty acid is significantly better in the diet that contain the sunflower oil, sunflower oil with linoleic acid and the linseed oil and the mix of sunflower oil and the linseed oil, but significantly lower on the apparent digestibility is significantly lower on the diet that contain the tallow. And table 20 shows the final body weight and carcass, abdominal fat, and skin content of broiler chicken spread various dietary fat. This is also the similar experiment. Also, the diet that contain the mixed oil, that is linseed oil, sunflower oil, and the tallow has the better better result on the final body weight of and the carcass weight and the carcass percentage also the better. In conclusion, the fatty acid composition of dietary lipids influence not only the composition but also the fat deposition in the animals. The inclusion of polyunsaturated fatty acid in poultry diets reduce the amount of total body fat and abdominal fat to be deposited then in the chicken fat diets with similar metabolized energy levels but rich in the saturated fatty acid or monounsaturated fatty acid. Like in the previous experiment, we see the in the tallow, lard, and the sunflower oil contain the high deposition of the abdominal fat. Then the diet that contain the polyunsaturated fatty acid. This is my end of presentation. Thank you for listening.
Please ask a question. comments or suggestion? Any comments as well?
Thank you, Chet, for the presentation. Can we back to slide 11?
Speak a little bit louder.
Can we back to slide 11, Chet? Yes. Okay. Yes. For this table, we can see that we provide control and also add some vitamin E, selenium, and we mix those kind of the vitamin. But the result of those treatment with, I mean, except the control, show the lower than the control. Any reason for that? Any reason for that, Chat? Because because we see that vitamin E is important, selenium important, and we mix also, but the result is still low. Thank you.
Yeah, in this experiment, they use the control diet is the linseed oil, and they put the vitamin A, C, and selenium, right? But I also confused because there is no effect on the average daily gain and the average daily feed intake. Like in the growth performance, there is not difference, but in the like antioxidant activity, like as I so maybe this one, superoxide dismutate and the GP significant better on the that diet contain the vitamin E, C, and selenium, and also along the vitamin E, vitamin C, and selenium. Then the control diet for the in the total performance there is no difference. So I don't know how to describe this one.
Oh, oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Asan.
Any question, comments, suggestion? Thai student. Mute.
Yes, in the table 9, I'm not sure what the page. Table 9.
I
Can you
cannot
hear me?
hear. Speak loudly.
Can you hear me?
A little bit louder. Sorry, maybe it's a computer open, but on more big voice.
Okay. In this table, I see in the group 4% of large. It have the it have ADFI more than another group. It can conclude the large can increase the ADFI for the chicken than the vegetable oil. Same the table 18. Can you move to the 18, table 18?
Chat, table 18.
Okay.
Yes. In this table, it have the tallow group. It have the increase the ADFI too.
Yes.
Can we conclude the fat from the animal can increase the ADFI more than the vegetable oil, right?
Yeah. The reason is this one. Those the animal fat contain the saturated fatty acid, and the saturated fatty acid that The saturated fatty acids, maybe professor can explain later.
Okay, you explain first, and then I follow you.
The animal the animal fat usually contain the high concentration of saturated fatty acid, and the saturated fatty acids also can help to reduce the stress, right, professor?
Reduce what?
Like some kind of heat stress or
Heat stress.
no.
Here is not heat stress, so
Yeah,
how to mix these two together?
no, not here. I mean in other conditions sometimes, right?
So how to explain in here? I mean, in other condition, if they do not add any kind of antioxidant material, feed ingredient, for example, vitamin E or selenium or vitamin C or something else,
Yes.
Usually saturated fatty acid will be a little bit easy to digest in this kind of situation. And here is a lard. Her question is about the lard, LARD, lard. So I cannot see the table now. Sorry.
Okay. Is it okay now, professor?
Yes. The food intake is higher in the
Here is the tallow.
lard. Yes.
In the table 8 is the lard. Yes. So lard and the tallow both contain the saturated fatty acid, right?
Yes.
Professor?
Yes. Right.
I think another reason is also the saturated fatty acid. They don't need to go to the lympho system. They can directly go to that is the short chain fatty acid, right?
The short chain.
Yeah, that is short chain.
Sorry. Mid chain fatty acid is not a animal fat or vegetable fat. No, nothing to do with this.
Chet, maybe they just prefer lard type or taro type because they can eat more. When they eat more, so their weight gain is increased. Maybe just only this.
Yes, maybe. The feed intake is higher in the tallow and lard in both cases.
Usually in the pig is also the same thing, because if you are unsaturated fatty acids, you will produce a lot of free radical, and this kind of free radical always cause big problem of the health. I only can say like that way if you compare with vegetable oil and animal fat. Can you understand, or you agree with this kind of talk? Gyawali.
Yes.
Okay. Nurita?
Thank you, Chet, for your presentation. Thank you, Chet, for your presentation. Is my voice clearly?
I cannot hear. Wow, today's communication may have very Not correct. Good communication.
Is my voice is clear? No? Still not clear?
Nirita, did you speak?
Yes. Yes, Professor.
Oh, you didn't switch on the microphone. Please switch on the microphone.
Is my voice clear now?
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Now it's okay.
Okay. Would you please come back to page 9? Okay. Based on this table, I'm curious about your opinion because there are two kind source of the omega-3 and omega-6 from the plant and from the fish oil, for example. And then which one is more important or should provide greater for the chicken growth or to improve the chicken performance based on your opinion?
In my opinion, I think there is no fixed one which one is better. But what I can say is like the the oil that from the plant, that is flaxseed oil, contain the pure alpha linoleic acid, and also the another other contain the linoleic acid, right? And this will further divide into the EPA and DHA, and those can be used in the body. And for fish oil, that contain this EPA and DHA itself. And the fish also from the sea fish, not from the freshwater fish. The freshwater fish that eat the the commercial ratio, they usually have the low concentration of this EPA and DHA compared with the marine fish. But for the oil that from flaxseed and also the seed from chia seed, that contain the high concentration of alpha linolenic acid. So I think the answer might be we have to see the availability of those ingredient in the country. And another bad thing is, I think in flaxseed oil also contains some anti-nutrient. So that also reduce the some kind of weight gain in animals. I have seen some paper and so the flaxseed contain the different kind of antioxidant anti-nutrient factor. So they use some kind of enzyme, and I also saw the one like soybean ibuprofen or something in the result, right? So that that is my answer, but I'm not sure which one we should use.
Do you agree, Nirita?
Actually, I'm not sure. So I ask.
Okay. I'm quite sure one thing, that is fish oil have a very strong smell. Okay, so in the commercial, people don't like the fish oil, and the fish oil using in animal, especially in the pig and the chicken, you always will cause some kind of so-called yellow fat, and this kind of yellow fat will decrease meat quality totally. Okay, so in at least in Taiwan and in China, nobody really want to use the fish oil. I mean, in pig or chicken production, because this kind of smell. Okay, not only smell, but also the yellow fat in the inside of the body, include the fat we call the leaf oil. Okay, so usually we don't use fish oil in animal diets. Okay. And interesting enough, in one time, one of my colleague in Pig Research Institute, he said there's no, they try this kind of things. It's no any adverse effect during the conference. He said like that way. I said maybe we will see. But after about 2 months, and then the whole Taiwan's market, people reflect, say this kind of meat is cannot accept, cannot totally 100% cannot be accepted in the market because the yellow color and the smell. Okay, and another interesting thing is, remember I said it's after 2 months. And another interesting thing is, if you want to correct this kind of oil inside of the pigs or chickens, you also need a very long time to correct. You already deposed in the inside of the body. You are not easy to get rid of them. Okay, so this is a big problem. Another thing is, if you're using the fish oil, sometimes because they have very strong smell, so not easy to let the animal to eat more. This is also another big trouble. Okay, so we have to be careful about this. So you ask me which one I will not consider about the EPA or DHA, because that is not the important one for food intake. Okay, so this is my own suggestion. Okay. Any question from Sue?
Yes, I have a question. Is the
Speak loudly.
okay? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. My question is about what's your opinion between the oxidation function within the growth performance or the carcass performance on the chicken, or the other side is also okay.
You mean the oxidation from the polyunsaturated fatty acid, right?
Yes.
Usually when the diet that contained high in the polyunsaturated fatty acids, it undergoes the different like lipogenesis reaction. So in that case, it produces a lot of reactive oxygen species and a lot, also the free radical, a lot of free radical. So the higher concentration of polyunsaturated fatty acid, like both for omega-3 and omega-6, both can produce the high number of free radical. So like if we include some kind of antioxidant, that might be the helpful. That is my opinion.
So can we go back to the vitamin E, vitamin C, the vitamin that one? Yes. Did you see any better performance?
No.
due to you
In,
add the antioxidant material?
no. In growth hormones, no.
Yes.
But when they mix the all vitamin E, selenium, and vitamin C, even the average deligan is lower, significantly lower.
Okay. Can you go back to the what kind of percentage, what kind of IU they add in the diets?
Oh, are you
How much?
that
How much IU say you add in the diet of vitamin E or C or selenium? Selenium is a percentage.
I will share the another.
International unit.
Okay,
How much IU they add into the diets?
I just looked the paper, Professor.
Okay. This is the most important part because if you add a very lower vitamin E, it's not useful. And the vitamin C is sorry says that sometimes is we just maybe under the heat stress we maybe use vitamin C. Otherwise, vitamin C we are certainly use in the pig and the chicken diets. And selenium, you cannot add more because usually it's 0.3% in pigs. And in chicken, it's about 0.4 to 0.6%. Okay. So in this case, the only one you can add is vitamin E. And how many units they add into
200 IU.
200 IU?
Yes.
200 IU is quite high. Very high. It's not high, a little bit high.
In the diet contain the 50 IU.
50 IU.
In the diet content, and they add the 200 IU.
Control diet is 50.
Yes.
And the vitamin E group is 200.
Yes. And the vitamin C is 250 milligram. And
200 milligram.
250 milligram vitamin C.
250.
And the
Should be enough.
selenium is 0.2 milligram.
Yes, selenium is you cannot expect the selenium because in common situation, selenium cannot add too much. If you add too much, and then will become poison. Okay, maybe we need to be careful to consider about the vitamin E now. Because here, sorry, the word is too small. 59, 58. So vitamin E is 80, 85. Control is 89, 89. So this is interesting things. The final one, 50, 60. Okay. So I dare not to give you any suggestion about here because the weight gain is a very strange weight gain. Okay. Any other suggestion from other people? Okay. Any other suggestion? Net, do you have any suggestion?
Maybe Aswa first because he raised his hand.
Okay.
Thank you, Ned. So, Dr. Shad, from the information that we get from Chet, the vitamin E that we add in this is around 200 international unit, and the result seems still lower. And you say the 200 international unit is very high. Basically, the maximum or the, yes, can we say the maximum, the vitamin E that we add in the diet is no more than how many international unit, Dr. Shah? Thank you.
Okay. I just read a few weeks ago, and last week, not a few weeks ago, vitamin E usually only provides them about 50, 30 to 50. But that is because NRC standard is very low, and should not like low like that other way, because vitamin E is not only for growth purpose, also for healthy purpose. So if you can provide vitamin E, and then the healthy will be better. You will anti-stress and anti-heat stress, especially inside paper is mentioned about heat stress. Okay. Because last week I have a presentation on this subject, so I know vitamin E and vitamin D. Last week the presentation is on the vitamin E related with chickens. So they said is vitamin E can be improve the performance. Okay, last week, just last Friday, okay, I give a presentation about this. So maybe this one have a little bit of difference. Okay, I don't know. But in this case, I have a very, very, very strong suggestion to everyone here, include myself. That is, we have to be very careful to do experiment. Okay, because sometimes experiment, if we are doing a little bit wrong, and then we will have a big trouble. And we will cause some kind of result we cannot interpret. Okay, so in this case, some people actually add about 400 to 600 in last week's presentation. Last week's my presentation is one of the presentation is the effect of vitamin E on the broiler and the native chicken. Okay, so that's why I remember very clearly at the moment. So be careful about this. It's sometimes, very difficult to say. Do you mind to let me know? Sorry, this that which country this come from? Lesokovic. I think it's
Spain. I think it's
Spain.
from Spain. Yes.
Spain. Spain. Okay.
Let me look again.
In which kind of journal?
I just look. Serbia. Oh, this one from the Slovenia and Serbia.
Okay.
Slovenia
Okay.
and Serbia.
Okay. Okay.
Journal
Okay.
is Poultry Science.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Poultry Science.
So in this case, maybe many places refuse to accept this paper. We have to be very careful about this. We have to publish. No any way to explain all these kind of things. I also agree they will publish, but if they are not reasonable, and then the journal will not accept in most of the case. This is really big problem. And also another thing is, if you are a student, you are hurry to publish, because if you want to graduate from here, you have to hurry to publish. If you do not hurry to publish, you cannot live here. My family cannot raise you. Sorry, just a joke. Don't so nervous. I'm just a joke. So please be careful about this. So vitamin E usually is very good one. Okay, it's also antioxidant material, feed ingredient or feed additive. Vitamin E is the highest antioxidant ingredient compared with any other ingredient. Okay. Any other question or comments, suggestion?
Okay, Chet. I have the same question with last time for your presentation. Which source of omega-3 or vitamin E that you suggest to use in broiler diet?
Sorry.
Yes. Which source of omega-3 or vitamin E that you suggest to use in broiler diet?
I think the plant oil. The professor already explained.
Mhm.
Maybe the linseed oil.
Do you have the reason why you suggest this?
As professor said, the fish oil has the strong smell.
Don't say professors. Why not say you said, or why not say the paper said?
No, in the academic we have to cite the source, right?
Yes, right.
Just now you said about the fish oil got strong smell. So
okay.
Yes, but maybe also easy to find these ingredients from your country or some area. And when compared with other source, they're not show high significant, but maybe they will show the benefit in other reason than other omega-3 source.
yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay,
Susu,
thank
what
you.
kind of omega-3 source you find?
I find the flaxseed oil on the commercial way, because usually in Taiwan we have no flax oil is for the feed meal, for animal feed. So I collect maybe on the commercial way, like I go to Liang and to find the and find many kind of the flaxseed oil from made in the Taiwan or import from the Canada or Italy.
Because
And
we have to ask someone to buy, and Susu is responsible for to buy all this kind of oil. Fish oil we cannot accept because the smell is too strong. If we finish the experiment, nobody want to buy our chicken, and then we will get trouble. Okay, so this is another things we have to be think about. Any other good suggestion? Because we why I ask Susu is not because I'm trying to escape. It's because I already asked them, say, where you can get this kind of things. If you get from this kind of things from Liang, my goodness. In the usual time, I will say no, because that is too expensive. That is for human beings consumption, you know. But in this case, I have no choice. So I keep very quiet.
Everyone knows Shen Lian, right?
No.
Shen Lian is a supermarket.
It's a human supermarket. It's a famous one. As what do you know, Chen Lian?
PX Smart.
OPX, I only know Paiser and also PX Smart.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we better to try. Okay, try our best. I think today Chet already give us a good review about his reading, but in my opinion, I will prefer you start from the omega-3, omega-6, and try to find all the omega-3, omega-6. And then the second one, try to find out all the antioxidant. That's very important because recently we have one student graduate from our division, and he seems not read very well, so I feel a little bit sad about that. Okay, because he seems all this kind of reading is very rough from his literature review. So we better to concentrate on one thing first, omega-3 or omega-6, omega-3, omega-6, and then correct everything on omega-3 or omega-6, and everything on vitamin E or antioxidant. Okay, and then combine these two together. Okay, that is my supervisor, Professor Udagash, asked me to do like that way. So I actually correct all the information. Sorry, it's not try to treat your people, treat my student. No way. I'm just trying to say, in that kind of situation, you are easy to protect yourself. Protect yourself is very important. Protect yourself. Okay, that's why when I give a presentation for the farms, I always try to protect myself. If protect yourself, the best way is try to read everything, and then you can find in most cases all the paper. I think Ned will agree with me. All the paper have a negative one and a positive one. If the negative one is more than the positive one, I will believe the negative one. Okay, if the positive one is more than negative one, I will give up negative one. Okay, so please read more. That's become very important, especially for your for the young student. This is maybe very important things. Okay, and another suggestion. Sorry, is that another suggestion? Please make note. Please correct all the paper in your computer. At the moment, you have no choice. Please correct all the paper in your computer according to alphabetical order. Because at the moment, you only have one subject. If, for example, like this way, you are correct all the omega-3 according to alphabetical order, and all the vitamin E according to alphabetical order. Why? Because at the final time, you will put on the reference on it, and you are easy to do it. Otherwise, you will have the same thing happen like my student. Okay, you cannot find it. Where the paper is. That is a very, very, very dangerous thing, because during the last minutes, you have to, when you finish your thesis, the most important thing is put on the reference, because the teacher will, or the referee will check all your reference, okay? And if check all your reference, and then if you cannot put all this reference on it, then you will get trouble. Okay, sorry, it's not because any of you have this problem. It's because we made this problem. I made this problem just recently. Okay, so be careful. Sorry， 叔叔小旺的论文就是这样，很惨，我不知道要怎么办。Reference and inside of the review and outside and at the end of the literature review cannot fix together, and then you will get a big problem. Okay. Okay. Good night. Can I say good night?
Yes.
Yes.
Good night, everyone.
Then you are first one say good night. You try to escape. Okay. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Okay.
Bye bye.
See you next week. Bye bye.
See you next week. See you next week.
Yeah.
Next week is my term.
Thank you.
So yeah. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.叔叔，你还在干什么？你在干什么，叔叔？